हेलो फ्रेंड्स एंड वेलकम टू ज्ञान गंगा क्लासेस। और आज हम लेकर के आए हैं क्लास 6 सोशल साइंस हिस्ट्री का चैप्टर न्यू एम्पायर्स एंड किंगडम्स। सो व्हाट वी विल कवर अबाउट द प्रशस्तीज। व्हाट आर प्रशस्तीज? समुद्रगुप्ता's प्रशस्ति, जीनियोलॉजीज वो क्या होती हैं, हर्षवर्धन एंड हर्षचरित, द पल्लवास, चालुक्यास, पुलाकेशिन्स प्रशस्ति। A new kind of army and assemblies in the southern kingdoms. Also we will learn about the ordinary people in the kingdoms. So let us start with the प्रशस्तीज। आखिरकार प्रशस्तीज होती क्या है? The Samudragupta, a famous ruler of dynasty known as the Guptas, from the long inscription inscribed on the Ashokan pillar at Allahabad. हमको क्या पता चलता है? हमको गुप्ता डायनेस्टी में we understand that there was Samudragupta who was a famous ruler. उनके बारे में कहाँ लिखा हमको पता चला? In the inscription on the Ashokan pillar at Allahabad. It was composed as a kavya by Harishen, a poet and minister in the court of Samudragupta. हमें इनके बारे में कैसे पता चला? हमें इनके बारे में एक काव्य से पता चला जो किसने लिखा था? हरिसेन ने। a poet and a minister कहाँ के थे? कोर्ट ऑफ समुद्रगुप्त के। समुद्रगुप्त के वो पोएट और मिनिस्टर थे। उन्होंने एक काव्य लिखा, उसके थ्रू हमें समुद्रगुप्त के बारे में पता चला। दिस इंस्क्रिप्शन ऑफ अ स्पेशल काइंड known as prashasti, meaning in praise of, means the inscription that is written in praise of some kingdom, some king, then that is called prashasti. Prashasti is a Sanskrit word meaning in praise of. समझ आया प्रशस्ति क्या है? तो now समुद्रगुप्त प्रशस्ति. In Samudragupta Prashasti, poet praised the king in glowing terms such as warrior, as a king who won victories in battle, who was learned and the best of the poets. He is also described as the equal of to gods. The Prashasti was composed in very long sentences. Prashasti was a document, was a text inscribed or written in favor, in the praise of the rulers, the king. Okay. So Samudragupta Prashasti में क्या है? The poet praised the king in the golden words, such as he told him warrior, won the victories in battle, and the best of his, the equal to gods. Even he explained him as equal to gods. So this was Prashasti was written in a long form of sentences, and the Harishen described 4 other kind of rulers and told us about Samudragupta's policies towards them. हमको उनकी किंगडम, उनकी पॉलिसीज के बारे में भी हमें कई बार इस प्रशस्तीज के थ्रू हम लोग को जानने को मिल रहा है। Historians study these to understand the history at its best. The rulers about history. Then the rulers of Aryavarta, where 9 rulers were uprooted and their kingdoms were made the part of Samudragupta's empire. तो किसके बारे में बताया? सबसे पहले तो रूलर्स ऑफ आर्यवर्त के बारे में बताया उन्होंने, जिनको हटा के दिया, 9 रूलर्स को हटा करके द किंगडम वाज द मेड अ पार्ट ऑफ समुद्रगुप्त. द रूलर ऑफ दक्षिणपथ, वेयर द 12 रूलर्स सरेंडर्ड द समुद्रगुप्त आफ्टर बीइंग डिफीटेड एंड लेटर ही अलाउड देम टू रूल अगेन. अब नेक्स्ट पॉलिसी हमको किसके बारे में पता चली? दक्षिणपथ के रूलर के बारे में, जहां 12 रूलर्स वर सरेंडर, 12 रूलर्स जहाँ पे समुद्रगुप्त को सरेंडर कर दिया, और लेकिन उनको हराने के बाद भी समुद्रगुप्त ने क्या किया? ही अलाउड देम टू रूल अगेन. ही जस्ट सेड यू रूल, बट इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट कि विदिन द समुद्रगुप्त डायनेस्टी, बट यू विल रूल योरसेल्फ. हरिसेन also told about the inner circle of neighboring states including Assam, coastal Bengal, Nepal, and a number of Gana Sangha in the north west. अब तीसरे टाइप ऑफ चीज के बारे में, गण संघ, जो हमने नॉर्थ वेस्ट में देखा था, इन असम, बिहार, बंगाल, नेपाल. सो देयर वर द गण संघ एंड दे ब्रॉट ट्रिब्यूट, फॉलोड हिज ऑर्डर्स एंड अटेंडेड द कोर्ट. उसमें क्या करते थे? वहां से लोग इनके लिए ट्रिब्यूट ले आते थे. हमने लास्ट लेसन में ट्रिब्यूट के बारे में पढ़ा है. अगर आप मिस कर दिए हो तो प्लीज जस्ट चेक इट आउट. एंड उनके ऑर्डर्स फॉलो करते थे और उनकी कोर्ट को अटेंड करते थे. The fourth were the rulers of outlying areas, such as the descendants of Kushanas and Shakas. The ruler of Sri Lanka submitted to him and offered daughters in marriage. तो अलग अलग तरह से लोग इनको प्रीज करते थे. So वो हम लोग को सब कुछ इससे पता चलता है. तो प्रशस्ति, written by Hari Singh. Now, genealogies. The Samudragupta Prashasti mentioned the ancestor names. हमको जब हम पढ़े प्रशस्ति पढ़ते हैं तो उसमें कई बार हमको क्या पता चला समुद्रगुप्त के पहले के रूलर्स, उनके फादर के ग्रैंडफादर, सो समथिंग लाइक दैट, ग्रेट ग्रैंडफादर, ग्रैंडफादर, फादर, मदर, ब्रदर, सिस्टर, सो मेनी रिश्ते नाते we get to know. These are known as the genealogies. Like his mother Kumara Devi belonged to Lichavi Gana. His father Chandragupta was the first ruler of Gupta dynasty, who adopted the grand title of Maharaja Dhiraj, a title that Samudragupta also used. So this way you can see in the image a chart of showing that this was the first, then he has 2 sons, then there are 3 daughters, then those have again 2 sons, 4 daughters, something like that. That whole chart of the family is called the genealogy. Clear? Now about Harshvardhan and Harshacharita. Harshvardhan, who ruled nearly 1400 years ago, has his biography written by his court poet again, that is the Prashasti, Harshvardhan Prashasti, written by Banabhatta in Sanskrit. He is not the eldest son of his father, but he became the king of Thanesar after both his father and elder brother died. How we get to know this? We get to know this from the book The Harshcharita. His brother-in-law ruled Kannauj, who was killed by the ruler of Bengal. Harsh took over the kingdom of Kannauj and then led the army against the ruler of Bengal. These all things, his way of life, his ruling, his power, his just the way of war, everything is written in the Harshcharita, that the Prashasti of Harshvardhan, and we get to know about the kingdom and the king. Harsh was successful in the east and conquered both Magadh and Bengal. He tried to cross the Narmada to march into the Deccan, but was stopped by a ruler belonging to the Chalukya dynasty, Pulakeshin II. हर्ष के बारे में हमें ये भी पता चला कि that he conquered most of the areas in the east, and then he went also to pass the Narmada and go into Deccan side, but he was stopped by whom? The southern ruler of the Chalukya dynasty, Pulakeshin II. तो चलिए अब हम बात करते हैं सदर्न डायनेस्टीज के बारे में. सदर्न में कौन कौन थी? पल्लवास, चालुक्यास. You can see in the map, here is the Pallavas and these are the Chalukyas. So from the Narmada, he was just trying to cross and he was the Chalukya. So the ruler of Chalukya, Pulakeshin II, just stopped him right there. The kingdom of Pallavas is spread from the region around their capital Kanchipuram to Kaveri Delta, while the Chalukyas were centered around the Raichur Doab between the river Krishna and Tungabhadra. Krishna and Tungabhadra rivers के बीच में there was the Chalukya system, Chalukya dynasty. Aihole, the capital of Chalukya. Chalukya का capital क्या था? Aihole, and was the important trading center. It was developed as religious center with number of temples. Pulakeshin II was the best known Chalukya ruler. Pulakeshin II was the best known Chalukya ruler. His Prashasti was composed of Chalukya की राजा यानी पुलकेशिन II की भी प्रशस्ति लिखी गई. अभी तक हमने 2 जानी. First one was about the Samudragupta, then the next was about, अभी किसका पढ़े थे? Harshvardhan. And now we know about Pulakeshin Prashasti. His Prashasti was composed by again his court poet. उनका क्या नाम था? रवि कीर्ति, which talks about ancestors. प्रशस्ति में ancestors के बारे में तो बात होगी. And then tracked about how the 4 generations from father to son just ruled the area. According to Ravi Kirti, he led expeditions along both the west and east coasts. Besides, he checked the advance of Harsh. There is an interesting play of words in the poem. Harsh means happiness. The poet says that after this defeat, Harsh was no longer the Harsh. So he very interestingly wrote, with playing with the words, with the name of the king, he just wrote different type of phrases in the story of Harsh. एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन ऑफ किंगडम्स, किंगडम्स की कैसे एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन होते थे? Land revenue remained important, but new developments were also introduced. कैसे किंगडम का एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, यानी सबसे पहले बात आ जाती है फाइनेंशियल कैसे आता है. सो द फाइनेंस वाज सपोर्टेड विद द बेसिक लैंड रेवेन्यू, and other than that different things were introduced, like the king adopted a number of steps to win and the support of men who were powerful either economically, socially, because of their political and military strength. अपनी पॉलिटिकल और मिलिट्री और उनकी भी पॉलिटिकल और मिलिट्री स्ट्रेंथ के लिए ही जस्ट द किंग्स यूज्ड टू follow different steps to get the support of them who were powerful. Okay, some important administrative posts were hereditary. कई posts ऐसी थी जो hereditary थी, and sometimes one person held many offices. Besides, important men probably had a say in local administration. A new kind of army, कैसी आर्मी होती थी? आर्मी में भी काफी सारे डेवलपमेंट हुए. King maintained a well-organized army with elephant, chariot, cavalry and foot soldier. 4 टाइप के होते थे. Cavalry means the single alone horsemen. Then 4 types के कैसे हो गए? Elephants were there. Then there were chariots, rath. Then there were cavalry means single person on single horse riders. And then there were the foot soldiers. The military leaders provided king with the troops whenever he needed them, but they were not paid regular salaries. Instead of salary, some were receiving the grants of land. उनको सैलरी नहीं मिलती थी मिलिट्री लीडर्स को. They were given the land area as a grant for doing the job of the military leaders. They collected revenue from the land and used this to maintain soldiers and horses and provide equipment for warfare. These men were known as सामंताज. किनको सामंत कहते थे? सामंत वन द पर्सन्स जो कि रेवेन्यू कलेक्ट करते थे और उससे सोल्जर और हॉर्सेस को मेंटेन करते थे, प्रोवाइड देम इक्विपमेंट. दे वर द कॉल्ड सामंता. नाउ लेट अस लर्न अबाउट द असेंबलीज इन साउथ. हाउ वर द असेंबलीज वर इन द साउथ? द इंस्क्रिप्शन ऑफ पल्लवास, दैट इज द लोकेशन टू दैट प्रशस्ति. From that we know there was Sabha, an assembly of Brahmins of landowners. Then this assembly functioned through subcommittees which looked after irrigation, agricultural operations, making roads, local temples, so much more. Village assembly found an area where the landowner were not Brahmin. Sabha was the assembly formed in where the landowners were Brahmin, and village assembly were found in those areas where the landowner was not the Brahmin. Nagaram was the organization of merchants. 3 types की assemblies के बारे में जाना. Sabha, village assembly and Nagaram. Nagaram was the organization of merchants. Clear? कालिदास was known for his plays. अब languages कैसी यूज होती थी? तो कालिदास ने हमको बहुत सारे different plays दिए हैं depicting the life of king's court and so much more. The interesting feature about these plays is that the king and the most Brahmins show that they speak Sanskrit, and the other men, the common man, used to use the, other than the Brahman, the other men and women used what language? Used Prakrit language. So these were the languages, these were the life of ordinary people, these were the kingdoms and the empires. So I hope आपको पसंद आया होगा, समझ आया होगा, क्लियर हुए होंगे काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें. और कोई डाउट है, कोई क्वेश्चन है तो प्लीज़ कमेंट इट and I will send you the replies and clear your doubts. And make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell icon and share this video with your friends and let them know more.